everyone, welcome to another episode of Brittstalk. Today we are here with another interesting and also useful topic, health and well-being. Here I am as a host, Aaditi Thakuri, with my co-host,
Amina, Kasichana. We are BBA students in healthcare operations, and today we have Dr. Danya here, who will be sharing her powerful insights and valuable information about health.
Let's get ready and dive into some interesting topics with me, and also let's explore the world of health and well-being together.
So before we start, we'll give Dr. Danya a few couple minutes to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Danya. I'm a clinical dietitian currently working at Gargash. I studied bachelor's in clinical nutrition and dietetics, kickstarted my journey in media, and then began with working as a dietitian in hospitals, also participating in conferences, media, and also radio talks. I pursued dietetics as my passion for nutrition and, of course, helping in enhancing the health of basically the public health and the well-being of others. Thank you for having me on this show, and I'm excited to share my insights on health and wellness.
So today we would like to ask you a few questions. Are you ready for it?
Of course, let's do it.
As a student, we have very busy schedule and we have to do a lot of assignments, and some of us are also engaged in work. So how can we balance diet while having a busy schedule?
Of course. So one thing about being a student, I believe, is that you're busy, you don't have time, and you want to just pick anything that is also tasty, so whatever is around. It is very important to plan ahead. So when you plan your meals ahead for the week, or even mentally plan your food, you're more likely to make healthier choices. And of course, when you make better choices, it impacts on your health, and then you realize that you feel better when you're making healthy choices. So I would say the first thing is to plan your meals ahead. Know what you should be eating, know how much food you should be having. Even if you have so many options around you, try to pick basically the healthiest option and identify what's good for you and what's not good for you. So when you plan ahead, you're more likely to make better choices as opposed to, impulsive decisions when you're just done with your exam or you're stressed and you just want to opt for anything.
Okay, so you said that we have to pick up healthy decisions on our meals. So most students usually use frozen foods, energy drinks, energy bars. So what are the downsides of using these kinds of foods?
So most of these go-to options are either very high in sugars, very high in caffeine because of energy drinks. And I'm pretty sure that most students opt for energy drinks because they want to stay up all night, last minute studying before the exam and so. But high sugar food items have a negative impact. This way, you will not be getting the right nutrients. So instead of going for healthy options and getting the needs that you need, you're going for unhealthy options. And most of these processed foods tend to have artificial flavors, colors, additives, basically a whole list of options if you look at the ingredients list. So, logically, if you're going for unhealthy options, you're making less space for healthier foods like fresh foods or foods that are low in fat or low in sugar. So these food options definitely have a negative impact on the health if we rely on them for a long period of time.
So I have been continuously getting to know from my relatives that most of them suffer from this long-term diseases like diabetes. And how does this nutrition play a role in the long-term diseases like diabetes?
Of course. So we previously mentioned in the question before that, high sugar food items, not just high sugar food items, also high fat options. If we rely on them, it will lead to metabolic disorders. So we have different metabolic disorders that happen, such as diabetes, as you mentioned, hyperlipidemia, which is high cholesterol, and many other metabolic disorders, obesity, of course. So when you have obesity, it leads to all these disorders. This is why it is important to take care of your food, the quality of your food, even though students are young and they always say, oh, when you're young, you have high metabolism, it's okay to go for anything. No. The earlier you take care of your food, the better it is for later on. And of course, the importance of not just nutrition, but also exercising as a complete, I would say, like a whole package of well-being.
As young adults, what healthcare checkups or screenings should we prioritize?
Okay, so it is important to check blood sugar levels. It is important to check cholesterol levels and also like vitamins. Now, if you happen to have a family history of diabetes and hypertension and high cholesterol, we always recommend that you also do the check. Also, if your diet is not as healthy and if you consume a lot of junk food and you also have a family history, it's important to keep track, because diabetes is not only for ages above 35 or 40 elderly. There are also students who might have high blood pressure due to stress, unhealthy eating habits, high blood sugar levels, maybe also vitamin deficiencies, low hemoglobin levels, which is very common amongst women. So these must be tracked. Even also if your food is healthy, it's just important to get like a complete health checkup every now and then to make sure you're on track.
So, these days, students as well as the adults are engaged in watching series all the day and night. So, how much important is it to have a sleep schedule to be healthy?
Yeah. So, according to the National Sleep Foundation, we need at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I would say that it is important to prioritize sleep because it's related to the hormones in the body, the hunger hormones also. There is a relation between lack of sleep and obesity and excessive weight gain and stress and food choices. So it's not just related to, let's say, an imbalance of hormones. It's not wrong to engage in daily activities. That's fine if you want to watch series, but limit the amount of episodes that you watch. Make a schedule for your day. Make sure that you try to not watch series every day, or like try to engage in something better like exercising, because that also helps with focus and attention for your studies, right? I would say aim to at least have 7 hours of sleep to make sure that you wake up, you're fresh, you're ready for your classes. I'm pretty sure if you had less sleep, you wouldn't feel as energetic.
Most students suffer from depression, anxiety, and stress. So what is the importance of mental health awareness and its impact on overall well-being?
Of course. So as you know, maybe when you have any sort of depression or anxiety, you lack motivation for anything. Lack of motivation for like exercising or maybe eating healthy, and we opt to resort for like unhealthy coping mechanisms. One of them is emotional eating. So you feel like you're depressed, you're down, you don't have energy, you grab food that makes you happy. Or for example, you wouldn't feel like exercising, you just end up staying in bed, watch unlimited amount of series, binge watching. Firstly, there's nothing wrong, obviously, with getting help. If you feel like you're really depressed, you really don't have motivation, it's important to visit a specialized medical professional who will assist with that. Because if it starts impacting your food habits, if it starts impacting your studies, also social interactions with your friends, this is a sign that you probably need to really prioritize your mental health. In addition to that, I always hear from patients that when you're depressed and you're not really motivated, you tend to eat unhealthy, and then you don't exercise, so you end up gaining weight, and then that leads to obesity, which in turn leads to the other metabolic disorders that we just mentioned, like diabetes or hypertension. So I would say it's a loop. It all starts with a problem that we need to focus on at the beginning so that we don't end up with further complications and bigger problems.
Most of the people end up getting drug addicted and the alcoholic, right? So how can we minimize that?
So we definitely need to visit a medical professional who will help with, addiction problems. First of all, obviously the negative impact of resorting to like alcohol or drug addiction has a major negative impact. So it's important to visit a person who's specialized, who will identify methods on how to, get over this type of addiction.
Personally, I love chocolate. So what is the main difference between the dark chocolate and the milk chocolate?
Okay. Dark chocolate is higher in fat. I will start with this. I'm not going to start with the fact that it's healthier. But dark chocolate actually has fat and it has less sugars. So it's not like dark chocolate is less calories. Actually, if you compare dark chocolate with milk chocolate, they almost have the same amount of calories, but it has way less sugars compared to milk chocolate. So if you see the percentage of sugars, you'll find that milk chocolate tends to have more sugars. That's why it tastes addictive.
You said that dark chocolate is healthier than the milk chocolate, right?
Yes, it is. Dark chocolate is definitely healthier because when any food option has less sugars, it tends to be higher on the healthiness score. It doesn't mean that chocolate is bad. Chocolate actually has flavonoids, which are antioxidants. They protect against heart disease. They protect against cancer. So there are a lot of benefits to foods that are rich in antioxidants. But it's important to highlight how much of the chocolate you should be having, the percentage of dark chocolate. So always opt for like 70% and above, because the more dark the chocolate is, the less is the amount of sugar. So that makes it healthier.
What about cereal bars and protein bars?
Yeah. So there's a difference between both cereal bars and protein bars. As some cereal bars tend to have sugars and they don't give you as much energy as they're supposed to. Protein bars, they tend to have a good amount of protein, which is approximately 20 grams or even above 20 grams. Personally, as a dietitian, I'm not against protein bars, because they're a good snack. Sometimes they have a nice taste. But what's more important is that you read the list of ingredients and you check the nutrition facts. You check how much saturated fat there is, how much protein there is, if there's any sugars, and have it when you really need to have it. But it is a good option after like, let's say, a workout, or maybe if you want to grab like a sweet snack during the day and you don't want to go for, like a lot of chocolate, so you can go for like a protein bar. But as I mentioned, you have to read the nutrition labels before buying it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Danya. We were happy to have you today here. We've heard your powerful insights and we'll surely follow them as students.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
So stay tuned for another episode. Bye bye.